When an emperor set out to conquer the world, he passed through a quiet village in Africa, far removed from the chaos of the world. The inhabitants of this village had never heard of war and were unfamiliar with the concepts of conqueror and conquered. The villagers welcomed the great emperor as a guest and took him to the hut of their chief. The chief warmly received him and offered him fruits as a gesture of hospitality. A short while later, two tribal parties entered the chief's hut in the roles of plaintiff and defendant. The chief's hut also served as a courtroom. The plaintiff spoke first. I purchased a piece of land from this man. While plowing the land, I discovered a buried treasure. I wanted to give the treasure to him, but he refused to take it. I argue that the treasure is not mine because I only bought the land, paying its price, not the price of the treasure. The defendant responded, "My conscience is alive. How can I take this treasure from him? I sold the land to him, and whatever is discovered in it is now his by fortune. I no longer have any claim over the land or anything within it." After careful thought, the chief asked the plaintiff, "Do you have a son?" "Yes, I do," replied the plaintiff. Then the chief turned to the defendant, "And do you have a daughter?" "Yes," the defendant nodded in agreement. "Then marry your son to his daughter and give the treasure to them," the chief declared. The emperor was astonished by this decision and began pondering deeply. The chief noticed the emperor's hesitation and asked, "Why? Are you not satisfied with my judgment?" "No, it's not that," the emperor replied. "But your decision is certainly surprising to us." The chief questioned, "If this case had been brought before you, what would your decision have been?" The emperor explained, "First of all, if such a case had occurred in our country, the dispute between the buyer and seller would have gone something like this. The seller would argue, 'I sold the land and received payment for it, but since a treasure has been discovered, and I was not paid for the treasure, it belongs to me.' The buyer would counter, 'I bought the land, and whatever is in it now belongs to me, and is my fortune.' The chief then asked, 'And what decision would you make?' The emperor quickly replied, 'We would have detained both parties and declared the treasure the property of the government, depositing it into the royal treasury.'" "Royal property?" the chief asked in astonishment. "Does the sun shine in your country?" "Of course," replied the emperor. "And does it rain there?" "Yes, certainly." "How wonderful." The chief was intrigued. "But let me ask one more thing. Are there animals in your land that graze on grass and fodder?" "Yes, countless animals live in our land." "Oh, I see." The chief nodded as if he had finally understood something profound. "Then perhaps it is because of those animals that the sun shines in such an unjust land, and the rain nourishes its fields." If you liked my video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos.